Can't see the door. Somehow I slip right through like a ghost in red, white, and blue. 'Cause I thread the needle, dodge the flame. Every pilot calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead. But I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, praying hard through every fight. Got no wins, but I got pride. Made it through the other side. Yellow flags like warning signs, but I ain't falling for their lines. Got nerves of steel, a shaky hand. This ain't a game, it's fire. Saw that 18 catch the wall. 21 spun, took out them. Somehow I found the lane, like Moses through that fire and rain. Yeah, I thread the needle, dodge the flame. Every pilot calling my name. Behind me, wrecks ahead, but I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, through every fight. Got no wins, but I got pride. Made it through the other side. No checkered flag, no champagne rain, but I kept it clean through the carnage and pain. One more lap, one more breath, a dance with danger, a race with death. Still I thread the needle, feel the flame. Every turn's a twist of fate's game. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead, but I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight out of chaos into light, no first place, but man, I ride with fire still burning inside. Yeah, I thread the needle in this wild racing ride. Strapped in tight, green lights flashing, rubbers burning, hearts are clashing, tires screaming that southern heat, 200 strong on the NASCAR beat. Lap 5 wreck on turn 4, smoke so thick can't see the door. Somehow I slip right through like a ghost in red, white, and blue. 'Cause I thread the needle, dodge the flame. Every pilot calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead, but I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, praying hard through every fight. Got no wins, but I got pride. Made it through the other side. Yellow flags like warning signs, but I ain't falling for their lines. Got nerves of steel, a shaky hand. This ain't a game, it's fight or land. Saw that 18 catch the wall. 21 spun, took out them all. But somehow I found the lane, like Moses through that fire and rain. Yeah, I thread the needle, dodge the flame. Every pilot calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead.
All right, here we go, folks. I hope you are ready for a little bit of Nashville fun here at the Music City as we get ready to take this QFRL out to some qualifying. I am John Ross. I'm going to be your broadcaster here in the booth on the American Racing Network. And to my side, as always, is Russ Martin Jr. Russ, how are you doing tonight?
Well, my friend, it's been a little while since we've been together here in the broadcast booth, but I'm excited to be back with you here to bring these guys the QFRL Racing Series here in iRacing.
Yeah, and I will tell you, Russ, we've got a lot to talk about tonight as we're going to have a couple of hundred laps here around Nashville Super Speedway, and we're going to see there on the tower, you can see on the top left, we're going to get ready for some qualifying runs. But I want to talk about this track just a little bit because, number one, it is my hometown. I'm from Nashville, Russ, so this is close and near and dear to my heart. Plus, it is also a track with some tricks up its sleeve. If you are not ready to tackle that, it is going to be a right tire burner. It is going to really help those drivers that decide to save tires throughout this run. And as always, we've got some stages we're going to have to contend with tonight.
I've ran here a few times, and I can tell you it's kind of like a combination of like Charlotte and maybe Kansas or Kentucky. You can really sail it off into the corners here, but you got to be able to get on the binders because it's deceivingly sharp in these corners. I mean, you're going about 170 going into the corners, and you got to back it down to about 140. And if not, like you said, it's going to burn up your tires fast.
Yeah, and that is going to be something that we're going to talk about all the way throughout tonight as we're going to bring you a round two or race two here at QFRL on Friday nights. Every Friday night, we certainly appreciate everybody joining in. If you'll give us a like and a follow, we would certainly appreciate that. But here, Russ, 1.3 miles. This track runs like a mile and a half. It's 73 degrees tonight. 77 is going to be the track temperature. So there's going to be some grip out there. And I think you're going to start seeing the drivers, as they get some wear on the tires, especially that right front, they're going to start to alternate really that line. They can stick the bottom early on in these runs when they have a lot of traction in those tires. Once you start to get a lot of wear, you're going to start to see them work their way up the track and maybe start working a diamond. So a lot of different scenarios are going to happen here tonight as we work through this. But like we talked about before, some of these stages are going to play a role as everybody's going to start jockeying for position to see when they can get the most points that they can to make that final run here to the checkered flag.
Yeah, 100%. These guys are running a 70% fuel load in their cars, and the first stage is at I believe it was lap 63. I'm not 100% sure that they can make it all the way to the end of the stage on a tank of fuel, but it's definitely going to throw some curveballs in with the stages being, I believe, like I said, lap 63 and then at lap 130, and then it's going to be a long run to the end of here because we've got 210 laps total here tonight, bud.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of drivers out here on the track that we're going to start to get to know. We're going to get to know their driving habits as we're going to talk about them. As now we see Zach Lockett is going to go up here to your number one position so far with about 1 minute and 30 left to go. And we'll give you a whole rundown of this grid as they go through once this qualifying ends. But, this track is so odd in the fact that it's concrete, and the entry to these turns are going to be paramount because that entry is really going to key how the apex of this track is going to work. And if you can get a good entry and don't overdrive that thing where that car wants to slide up, as you know, Russ, these next gens, you really got to start watching that left-hand side of the tires. That left front, left rear can create a lot of wear for you. And if it starts pushing in the apex of the turn, you're in trouble because turn 4 exit and that wall comes up on you quick.
Yeah, I was sitting here watching these guys during practice, and it's like like we said before, the bottom lane here is predominantly the dominant lane at the beginning of a run. But like we said, you can see guys moving up the track maybe later in a run as those tires start to wear out. But like you said, these cars start getting pushy, as we like to call it, coming out of 4. The guys were coming out during practice and they were slapping that wall really, really hard. So, like you said, that wall can come up on you in real quick, fast, and in a hurry once these tires wear out. So guys are going to have to be on their game for sure when it comes to tire wear tonight.
I agree. And, there's going to be a bit of draft that's going to work in because you have that dog leg on the front stretch. And so draft will matter. You can use the apron here, and as it flattens out right underneath the start finish line, so you can use that apron to gain yourself a couple of car lengths on the car in front of you if you're trying to make that pass or trying to sneak underneath of them. Is now it looks like for us we are going to empty this out. Because it does look like now we have our qualifying completed. So let's see if we can go in and show what is going on. So your pole sitter tonight is going to be Zach Lockett in that 93 machine, turning in a 29,300. Zoltan Nagy is going to be in second. Essery in third. Hera's going to round out your top four. Michael's going to be in fifth. James in sixth. Kenneth Pack in seventh. Tyler in eighth. Davis in ninth. Gregory Robinson is going to round out your top 10.
Philip Johnson, he's going to start in P11. Michael's going to be in 12th. Austin Johnson is going to start 13th. Joshua Park Stanford in 14th. Tyrone, they're going to start back in P15. Then Jordan in 16th. Michael in 17th. Miklos going to be 18th. And then Brandon Honeycutt is going to start out as one of the first driver to not decide to not lay a timeout. He's going to start in P19, and then it looks like Brian Burchett is going to start in P20.
Yeah, 21st is going to be Nathan. James is going to be 22nd. Dustin and Tommy are going to round out your field tonight as QFRL is going to take the green flag or start to line themselves up for this green flag here tonight. And that is going to be your starting lineup. So congratulations there to Zach Lockett coming in and nailing that pole position. So fantastic job by that driver. And as you can see, Russ, there is this is going to be a very, very tight group. Nagy with only .009 behind Lockett, really close there. 069 in third, and then 091 in fourth. So all of these drivers extremely tight. And we talked about that a little bit earlier. Draft is definitely going to be a factor tonight. As you can see, these drivers are going to fight through turn 1 and 2 as we go green here, and we're going to put this thing down for about 210 laps tonight.
210 laps. This is a long race. You definitely don't want to go out there and try to win it on that first lap. It's all about getting into a rhythm, getting into a pace, and getting the first stage there under your belt and seeing what you can do from there on. But yeah, it's a long race. Settle in, boys.
Yeah, and that is what is going to happen. As you can see, we're going to have some tickers up for you tonight, and we are going to bring you all of the action, and we're going to see if we can show the laps as a priority. So again, 210 laps. We've got that really first competition caution there at lap 63. So that is going to be certainly something that we're going to keep an eye out for. Is now you can see that pace car is going to peel off here. Let's see if we can bring you a start. Zach Lockett bringing them down, sitting on the pole here at Nashville Speedway, and we are going to go green here, Russ, as we're going to charge into turn 1. Zach with a really nice start here on the inside.
You got a really good jump on this field here. You're going to stick down there on that bottom side. You're going to take them into turn 1 and 2 here. Looks like that number 4 is looking to try to get a run off of turn 2, but not quite able to get there quite yet.
Yeah, it does look like Essery now is going to start putting a little bit of pressure on Zach, and he's going to want this lead early on in this race as he is going to put some pressure on the back end of this 93. Zach is going to hold strong, and he's going to keep his line firm, but as we go through, put this number 4 up to second. He is already up one position from where he qualified there in third, and Zach is going to get a really good exit there on 2, and that Russ, is one of those things we're going to have to watch all night long. You can see that 4 really diving into the turn a whole lot harder than Zach, but Zach getting off of that turn a lot better. That's going to be better for those tires in the long run.
Absolutely. You send him in there as hard as the 4's sending it right now. He's going to eventually, over time, he's going to start burning that right front off, and then he's going to start getting super tight. If Zach keeps being a little bit diligent on that corner entry, get those better runs off, he's going to be able to maintain those tires for quite a bit longer.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and that is what I believe is going to happen As you can see now, Essery is going to have plenty of tire early on in this run, and this temperature being a little cooler is going to afford them the opportunity to have a lot of traction early, so he can really push this car early on in the run. I think you're going to start to see that if you go 20, 25, and even 30 laps deeper into this run. You'll start to see a lot more wear in those tires, and that's where that balance is going to happen. But these two are knotted and they are nose to tail as that 4 car is going to drive that thing into 3 and get right onto the back bumper of that 93 car.
Yeah, the 3 and the 4 are looking to maybe start trying to drive away from Nagy there in 3rd, but you know they're keeping it pretty close right now. That 4 is really trying hard to get that 93, but he's just not able to get it done right now.
Yeah, I really like what this 98 is doing early on here, Russ. As you can see, he's taking that little bit higher entry, see about 3 lanes up, and then he's really diamonding that turnoff and able to really get out. As now it looks like the 4 car, Chris, is going to look underneath of Zach Lockett here for the lead.
Looking to the inside, going into turn 1 here to see if he can make this pass happen, but Zach holding strong on the outside there.
Yeah, Zach is really holding on, and this is one of those things about Nashville. That mid lane is a good line, and it can defend and defend extremely well at this track. This is one of those tracks where really the side-by-side racing is something that's paramount. Now, Zach on the outside is going to burn those tires up a little bit more than Essery down at the bottom, but I can tell you that that top line, and you can see Zach really being able to roll through the center of that turn and get off the exit strong and be able to pull right past that 4. So both of these drivers hurting those tires, but you can do this and do this for an extended period of time with the amount of grip that's in this track right now.
And you know, full disclosure, you know, we kind of know Zach a little bit. We've ran with him before. We have some experience with Zach, and this track is probably one of his better tracks that he runs at. And so it's really no surprise to me to see him up here fighting for this lead and being able to hold on strong up there on that mid to upper lane right now. But yeah, I mean, the 4 keeps trying to get him cleared, but the 93 is just not going away.
Yeah, Zach is holding strong right there. As we're going to go into the chat here, Russ, early on, Roxanne there saying, let's go, Roxanne Essery. So I'm going to imagine that you were sitting here watching this battle for the lead with as much intent as we are. And then Caitlin Nagy there saying, hi, guys. Caitlin, certainly happy to have you in, as it looks like your driver here running in 3rd is doing a fantastic job so far for the night. But we are going to start kind of fumbling back through this field, as it does look like that 4 car is going to take the lead here. So we're going to search back, as we've got drivers all over this track. We're going to try to pull up a battle box here on the bottom right-hand side, and you're going to see that highlighted in green there. David Hara is who we are highlighting, and if you see above him, you'll see Nagy there in 3rd and Pack in 5th. You can see the difference between those drivers, and as you can see now, we have a battle here, the 16 and the 41 going at it.
Yeah, 16 looking to hold on to that 4th spot, but man, Pack he sends it in there into up under underneath the 16. Trying to pull a little bit of a slide job. He gets him cleared.
Yeah, he did. I believe the 16 is going to back off a little bit, and he is going to tell the 41, man, you've got a little bit more speed right now, so we're going to let you go right on by. So let's continue to go back through the field, as now you can see Phillip in a battle right now. James Nelson there as well, Andrew Davis there. So we have a battle here, and it looks like Phillip in that 14 machine, he is up right now, Russ, 3 positions from where he started. Right in front of him, James Nelson down 1 spot there in that 75. And I can tell you, I have already ran against James, and he is going to be a tire saver. So look for him to really find a rhythm, try to get into that rhythm, save those tires, and you might see him come on a little bit later on in this race. But right behind Phillip now is the 33 car of Andrew Davis. So you can see these drivers right here in a tight little battles. Now it looks like the 33 starting to make some moves and gain some traction here on this 14.
Yeah, you and I were talking a little bit earlier as we were trying to get to know some of these drivers a little bit, check out their cars as they were going through their practice session, and I made mention that number 14 really is probably going to be one of my favorite paint schemes out here tonight because he's down in that old Tony Stewart paint scheme, and I'm a big Tony Stewart fan. A lot of guys that have followed the American Racing Network for a little while, they know I'm diehard Tony Stewart fan through and through, and I always seem to show some favoritism to anybody who runs an old smoke paint scheme. So.
Yeah, well, you can see now this 5 car, and you can see his entry to the turn is so hard, and that 5 is Michael Boone, and he is right on the back end of Austin Johnson, about a tenth behind him. Now the 3 car starting to reach underneath and look underneath. Now the 5 on the outside, on the right-hand side of this car, and the 77 is going to close that door, but he is going to get a tremendous run. That 3 car, not to be denied here, Gregory Robinson looking down to the inside. Now you've got Honeycutt that is joining this battle. He's on the outside, the 57 right there as well, and that's Nathan battling. So this is a huge group here, Russ, trying to fight this thing out for your top 10 positions.
6 cars under a blanket right there, and that 1 car right there, I want to point out that 13 of Brandon Honeycutt. We also know him from other various leagues and stuff like that, and these types of tracks really kind of fit into his wheelhouse. The mile and a half, high bank speedways are kind of right up his wheelhouse. So I would not be surprised to see this guy be up towards the front in the latter stages of this race.
Yeah, it does look like he's got a nice run underneath of that 3. The 3 car with a great run through the apex of that turn. He is going to be able to get a nice run on the exit, but Honeycutt is certainly putting down some fantastic lap times. As now the 5 under fire from the 57 here, and the 85 starting to join this party. That 85 car, we haven't talked about him yet. Tyler Nelson starting to join this battle here as these drivers are really knotted nose to tail here, Russ.
Yeah, a battle going on for the 11th through about 15th, 16th spot. It's great to watch.
Yeah, it is fantastic. Oh, Brandon Honeycutt with a fantastic move on the outside of that 3. I believe the 3 with a little bit slower exit out of 2. That allowed Honeycutt with a fantastic run to get out there. We're going to go right back here to the chat. Rita says, way to go, Philip, doing a fantastic job. And Scott Pack saying, hello to all. So, Scott, we appreciate you joining in. Now, Honeycutt into the wall hard. My goodness, we're going to go back and take a look at that because the green is going to stay out. We're going to back this up old school style. Oh, a little net code there, Russ, is going to get Honeycutt and the 3.
Unfortunately so. Yeah, that net code is is fickle.
Man, that has really, really hurt the 13. Brandon Honeycutt's going to have to come in. Now, there is plenty of time left, only 20 laps of 210, but Honeycutt probably going to have to use that fast repair already. Now, we're going to go back up here because we did miss this pass for the lead. Zach Lockett back up to front above your 4 car.
Yeah, able to get right back up there, and it looks like he's starting to stretch this lead out just a little bit. But, yeah, good to see Zach get right back out front again.
Yeah, he really is. Now, let's see if we can jump on board. I want to ride on board with Zach Lockett. We're going to see what he sees going around, and we can tell, Russ, the thing that I noticed immediately, really taking it easy on the entry of these turns, he is downshifting. You're going to hear him upshift here to 5th. And you can see his braking point is right before those purple banners there on the right-hand side. He's missing that yellow line just a little bit, but he is certainly very, very patient, getting that car downshifted early to allow the engine to do some work. Taking a little bit later entry here into 3 so that he can get that turn off. Really nice job here by Zach, your leader. Now let's go back and take a look at David, who has now made that pass for 2nd position on Chris Essery. So now push Chris back to 3rd. David here in second. Now you can see David taking a little bit different line, more shallow there into first. That is giving him quite the push through the apex of that turn, but he too shifting to make sure that he's going to rotate. Now you can see the two different lines, Zach up high, and it looks like David taking that shorter entry is going to be very interested. Zach is on that right rear in that turn, and it looks like David putting it on the right front.
Yeah, I was gonna say, watching David there get around that 4 car. I mean, it looks like maybe the 4 is starting to suffer some effects of tire wear, because I mean, he got the lead early on there, and now he's starting to fall back, and starting to fall back into the clutches of sorry, I don't have my thing up here, of Michael.
Yeah.
Looks like maybe.
Yeah,
the 41.
It does now. We can see we've got a battle growing here with Nagy and Pack. Pack coming up, starting to put some pressure on the back end of Nagy here in the 98. We thought the 98, having a great run early on, is going to come under fire here for that 5th position, as it looks like this 16 car getting into that turn extremely well. He's going to start looking on the outside here of this 98.
I've been watching some of these guys, and some of them have started to kind of started wavering up the track a little bit there. So I'm wondering, we're only 25 laps in, but maybe this is the time already to start moving up the track just a little bit, try to manage these tires a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great point, and they very well might be doing that. As now you can see Nelson, we're going to go back and highlight him. He was really close here to Phillip in that 14. Phillip is going to start stretching that out just a little bit, and now Nelson is going to start to fall back to the car right behind him, and that's going to be Andrew Davis in that 33 car. So these 3 cars really under a blanket here, fighting nose to tail. As you can see, Nelson really getting into the turn well, hooking that yellow line. And it looks like the 14 might be a little bit tight there, Russ, as he's going to push up the track just a little.
I mean, it looks like maybe just starting to get a little bit tight. And I'm surprised we don't have a caution. I just watched 2 guys go sliding through the infield, but it looks like they gathered themselves back up, and we're going to stay green. But yeah, it looks like, like I said, a little bit of tire wear is starting to come into effect, closing in on 30 laps. And, it's not surprising to me that tire wear is starting to take effect on people.
Yeah, it really is. And let's see if we can go back and take a look, Russ, at what you're talking about. It did look like... Oh, and that is going to happen. The 32 is going to get tight on the exit of 4. That's going to drag the 35 through the infield. I believe that was what you were talking about there.
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
Wow, Rita there in the chat saying she is 85 years old and watching Phillip and Chris race. So, Rita, we certainly appreciate you tuning in. Thank you very much for joining us.
Let's go. That just goes to prove that iRacing's audience is very widespread.
Yes, it is. We're going to go back here and take a look at Tommy Osborne. Tommy in this 28 car all over the back end of Tyrone here. Tommy is up 7 positions from where he started so far in this race, so doing a fantastic job, as now he is really hunting down this 2 car. Has a nice little turn there on the exit, able to rotate underneath of the 2. Man, Tommy looks like he is really doing well with these tires so far in this race.
I mean, you start saving tires just a little bit early, and you really can start making headway towards the later end of a run. And looks like maybe that's exactly what he did. He started saving just a little bit there at the beginning of this thing, and now he's starting to work his way up.
Yeah, and work is what is happening right now. Essery, Michael, Nagy, all really in a tight battle right here. That is your 4, the 41, the 98, the 16. All battling. It looked like the 4 had some speed early on, burned those tires up a little bit. He has fallen back to these other drivers, as now we're going to go into the pits a little bit early, and my goodness, that 4 car almost loose going in, rotating that car over, but they're going to get in and slow down. So pit stop starting already here about halfway through this first run.
I was saying that's kind of surprising to me, because I mean, I know we have that stage break coming up at, lap 63, but these guys only have 5 sets of tires. So to pit lap 30, they're gonna have to go a lot longer than 30 laps if they're gonna make the end of this race with 5 sets of tires.
Yeah, we've got a lot of drivers that are there in the pit lane. We're going to try to sort that all out for you right now. Zach Lockett out there still running 33 laps in to that first competition caution of 63 laps. So he's got about 30 laps left. It looks like everybody else are really trying to split that right in half there, Russ. I guess try to maximize their tires, because it does look like they're going to take tires, but Zach is going to be able to stay out a little bit longer. And if you have the speed and you're rotating well, no reason for Zach to come in until he feels like that drop off is so big he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if he's been able to maintain his tires and be able to save a little bit of something here for the end of this run, yeah, I mean, why give up the track position right now until you really start noticing that those tires are falling off really, really bad? Stick it out, drive it long, hope for a caution, and maybe you'll luck your way into being able to keep it.
Yeah, that is true. And as you can see now, we are under another blanket. There are battles going all over this track, as now we've got James Bowden there. He is in the 53, Josh Barr in the 35, Tommy Osborne in the 28. We talked about him a little bit earlier. I mean, these drivers are just going at it now. As the 85 underneath it looked like that was the 84 there. Underneath of that driver, James Bowden in the 53 is working the outside as well. He's going to work his way around this 85. So this 53 driver with Chop Shop there on the side of his car starting to work his way forward now.
Looks like they've got about, these guys haven't come in yet, so they've got 35 laps on their tires, maybe saving a little bit of something for the end of the run here, trying to really extend these tires out.
Man, it looks like as we go through the 77, really pushing. Now, that was not the 84 that I said before. That is going to be the 54. And it looks like he is starting to run him down. But this 35 with a lot of exit speed, looking underneath him, he's not going to get that pass done there at the 77, but it looks like he's rotating extremely well on the exit of these turns. Now, James and that 53 is not too far behind as they continue to battle. And as they do that, it looks like we have a driver that has turned purple on the track. And folks, what that means is purple is the fastest lap that we have recorded so far under race conditions. And that's going to be this driver here, the 41. And he went purple last lap as these drivers come in and get some tires, and they're turning these things loose here, Russ.
Yeah, no saving right now. But, yeah, I mean, it looks like everybody except for the top 12 is now come in for their first pit stop of the day, and that's going to put the 14 out in front. Go smoke. But, I'm sure we're going to be seeing these guys coming in here, in a matter of time. Could be maybe they're going to go to lap 40 or something. But, yeah, it looks like everybody outside the top looks like 11 now. Just said 12, looks like it's 11 now has been down pit road.
Yeah, and we'll try to reset this for you folks. I know this is crazy and wild. We're going to get this round of pit stops done so that we can tell you exactly what's going on. Right now, these drivers have not stopped, and that is Phillip, and he is in the 14 car. He is your leader, currently up 10 positions, and he is going to bring that thing down for service right now. As we said that is going to put Andrew Davis as your leader. As you can see, Zach Lockett, he was your leader coming in. He is going to be right on the back end of that driver to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. So Zach Lockett now no longer a lap down, and he is going to be fighting his way back. So this 33 car, still your leader, still waiting to come down pit road, and he is going to be joined by Nelson and Brian, Josh, James, Miklos, and Jordan Lane, Russ. I'm not sure who else has not been down pit road yet, but it looks like at least that top 7 still staying out here on the track.
I think going all the way back to, I believe, maybe Hera in 11th, maybe has not been down pit road. Maybe he was the first one down pit road. So maybe the top 10 have yet to come down. But I'm telling you what, these guys on the fresh tires, they're going to have to really watch themselves, because they're going to be so much faster than these guys that have not come down pit road yet. And they're going to have to watch that they don't run over these guys as they're passing them.
Yeah, that's a great point. As now you can see, now these are the first two drivers that are going to be one lap or went into the pits, and that is Nagy and Lockett. As now you can see Lockett trying to work his way back around Nagy there at that 98. He's going to get underneath of him. Nagy really driving respectfully and giving him the room there, but he's going to hold tight as we see smoke coming down the front stretch. I don't show an off track there. Yeah, Russ, I'm not sure what that was.
Yeah, I was saying neither do I, because I didn't see anything on my side either. But
oh my goodness, 3 wide coming through here. We've got drivers down on the apron. This 85 slow, and that is going to really be a pick that Lockett is going to use to get Nagy back behind him, at least 2 car lengths as they're going to come down this front stretch. All of these drivers here on fresh tires, catching these drivers with old tires. It is creating some just pandemonium and chaos as they're trying to maneuver their way through this field. Still out in front is going to be Andrew Davis there in that 33. He had about a second lead over Nelson the last time we checked in here, Russ. Now 1.5 seconds, and then back to third position of Brian at about 8 seconds behind that leader.
Yeah, these guys are still pushing. I mean, we're closing in on lap 45 here, and they're still pushing with that original set of tires. So, hey, if you can stretch them out and really give yourself that those tires towards come to the end of the race, man, that could be the determining factor between being up front or being in the back come the end of this thing.
Yeah, it really could, and we're going to see if we can switch this thing over, this ticker to lap times. I just want to take a look at where we're at from a lap time standpoint on the last laps. So as you can see now, on the ticker on the top, a lot of these drivers are going to be a lot quicker here on the back end of this field as they come down pit road. But we're going to take a look at this 33 car. He's going to turn a 30.610 that last lap. So just to give you a little bit of counter on that, your drivers in Zach Lockett and Nagy both turned 29.6s. So if you're looking at that, you're looking at about a second a lap here, Russ. But that's not going to be enough for these drivers to catch him if he can make it all 63 laps here.
I mean, usually a second a lap is a scary number to hear, but on a track like this, I mean, he may be able to stretch this thing out if he can go the distance on the fuel with this set of tires to lap 63.
And it could be that the 33 is trying to find a caution, maybe not able to make it, or he might just do a splash and go with no intention there on changing those tires. But as we stand right now, he is out and out in a big way now, starting to stretch this out over Nelson, which again was about a little over a second, now almost 2 seconds as that 75 car starting to fall back a little bit more. So let's see if we can go through the field and find some of these passes that's going on, and it's happening so quick for us because we still have those old tires and new tires. Zach Lockett and Nagy working their way through the field. Up now next for Zach is going to be Michael right in front of him there in the 41.
Zach's just just going to keep running his line here, and I mean, if these guys stay out, he might be able to work his way past about another 4 or 5 of them, but not sure if he can get all the way back to take the lead back over in time. But it's going to be interesting to see what that 1 second a lap difference really could make come the end of this.
Last lap for Zach Lockett is going to be a 29.6. Last lap for Andrew Davis, a 30.6. So still a second a lap faster than that driver. But when we look at the space that they're going to have between them, it's going to be about 12 seconds here, Russ. So I'm not sure, just like you said, I'm not sure if Zach's going to have that time, but it's going to be extremely close. 63 laps, about 12 seconds difference. We see a little smoke there again, but he is coming, and if those tires continue to fall off for your leader there in the 33, it's going to be just razor thin before this caution comes out here in stage 1.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at 13 to go to the end of the stage, and I mean, at this point, if these guys haven't come down pit road, they're really not planning on it. They're thinking stage points, but I just a second of the lap. I mean, we're looking at a 13-second differential between now and the end of this race, or by the end of the stage. So we're going to see here what these new tires are going to be able to do. But man, Zach might be able to work his way back up there in that amount of time.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to happen now because the 33 has went in the pits now. That's going to turn this thing over to Hera there in the police machine as we are following him around. Now Essery just right behind him. You can see Zach Lockett is right there as well. So it looks like this is going to cycle right back out to put Zach in a fantastic position. Now he is going to look to the outside of this 4 car, and he's going to try to take over that second position. So 33 in, James Nelson in. All of those drivers pitting that we thought might stay out, they're not going to be able to do that. Oh, Zach now into the wall there on the exit of 4, getting extremely tight as he's trying to make this pass.
That's something he definitely doesn't want to be doing right now. He needs to be able to keep that thing down and bound down to the bottom, or, at least in the middle lane, keep that thing away from the wall till we get this stage over with here in about 10 laps.
Yeah, the 33, that was your leader. Back out now, Andrew Davis on those tires, those fresh tires, is going to be on the march here. Now looking maybe 3 wide going into 1. Yeah, he is not going to take that thing 3 wide now. The 77 just a little bit loose. That is going to allow the 33 to sneak up in front of that 3 car. I believe, Russ, that this driver is going to just take fuel only because he does not have the same pace that it looked like Lockett and some of those other drivers are. So I believe their decision here, him and Nelson and a couple of those other drivers, was just to take fuel and save a set of tires. Looks like that might be what's happening here. Is now Zach Lockett is going to take over your lead. And we're going to go back and take a look at this pass for the lead. Zach, Russ, just with a great run there.
Yeah, I got a great run off of 4. Stuck it down on that apron and got right by Hera there. But that was one thing I always got to thinking was, we were talking about making those pit stops at lap 30 and, pit strategy and how it's going to play out towards the end of this race. And really, mentally, I didn't even think about, okay, are guys just going to take, fuel only? Are they maybe right sides only? I mean, there could be a lot of different pit strategies that take place in a race of this length that we're really not accustomed to, seeing while we're doing these races. So it's really going to be interesting to see how these play out.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, now we show Tyler Nelson as an off track. Let's see what happened to Tyler here. Tyler just getting loose on the exit of 4. He's going to run that thing right down, right back onto the apron. No harm, no foul there. That's going to cost him a couple of positions. But it does look like as we come around now, 57 laps of your 210. 63 is going to be your competition caution. That first stage break, he is now looking at one of your drivers that has been one of the stronger racers here tonight. Certainly about to go a lap down here in that 3 car. And he is going to make that pass, but I will tell you this, David in this police machine is not letting Zach go. We might have a race here for this stage break, for this number 1 position.
It's the same thing. I was watching this battle between Zach and David, and with the fresher tires that Zach has, I'm really surprised that he wasn't able to just kind of stretch it out and pull away, but David is keeping right in his draft, it looks like, and able to stay right with him. And, maybe he's going to make a battle for the win of this first stage.
Yeah, and as we take our ride around here with Zach, this is the tightest battle that we have here on the track. Just only a couple of tenths is going to separate Zach with your driver there in second position of David. Now, Chris Essery is right behind in the 4. We saw Zach with a great run to make that pass a little bit earlier there on the outside. The 4 might have been saving a little tire, Russ, as he is right in this battle now. As we're going to come to this line, 60 laps and 63 is going to be your stage break. We have a battle here for 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, it's really surprising that this late into the stage with those pit stops, and that these guys are still right there, 1, 2, 3, really close by, especially with David being able to hang on the way he has on those much older tires.
Yeah, it does look like Zach is starting to sneak away a little bit more, as now we're going to go right back here and take a look at Mr. Bryan. He is on the outside here, that 77 underneath of him, trying to get by doesn't look like he is going to be able to do that. So Brian, this 54 is going to remain in that position. They're going to go right back up here, 61 laps of 63. This is your battle for second place here, as now Essery starting to put some pressure on the back of David as they start to tighten up. Zach starting to sneak away just a little as he's going to put about 5 car lengths on these two drivers, but this battle for second is waging on.
And I gotta correct myself. I just noticed that David has been down pit road. He has got 2 lap older tires than what Zach does. So he is on the same tire strategy as these guys up here. So I was completely wrong. I thought he hadn't been down pit road yet.
But there he is looking underneath of this 2 car, and he's going to make that pass done. Now, that 4 is trying to find a way around him. We're going to come to this white flag, well, what you would consider to be the white flag before that stage break, as now this is going to come across the line at lap 63. Zach in a good position to take this first stage win, but this 4 car all over the back end of David here. I don't know how Hera's going to hold him off, but it does look like the 4 is getting into the turn a little bit better. David is able to rotate a little better. So both of these drivers faster on different ends of these turns. As we go back up here to chat, it says Purpose Room saying, watching from the race from Columbia. So welcome in. We certainly appreciate that. Thank you very much. Now that caution is going to come out, and that is going to call your stage. David able to hold off Chris. So as the stage goes here, Russ, Zach Lockett, as we take a breath, as we see another driver there on the right-hand side. That is that Essery? No. What happened here?
It looked like somebody had gotten up into the wall going into turn 1 after the...
Oh, Essery blinking a little. He might have blinked out. Oh, he is going again, but something happened to his internet connection. That's going to be some heavy right front damage. Your second place driver. Oh my goodness, what a change of events here. Let's see. We are going to be able to get some repairs. He's still going to be in third. Zach Lockett now coming down. Every driver on pit road now. Let's see if Zach is going to take tires. I would assume, Russ, everybody with tires and a full tank of fuel going on here.
Pitted around lap 30, 35. I mean, they're on 29, 30 laps tires. There's a couple guys out there on some newer tires. So they may just take fuel only and try to leapfrog this field and get up front. But, yeah, we're going to see what kind of different strategies play out right here. But a battle off of pit road.
Man, it did look like David was going to put up quite the battle there. Not able to get it done. I do believe Zach is going to retain that first position. That is always great to have that number 1 stall, which Zach did. All he had to do was just nose out in front of him, just hit the gas just a little bit to get himself in front of David. But, man, he has shown a lot of speed there in that 15 machine. So he is certainly one to watch throughout this night. So let's see if we can rack this thing back up. Zach Lockett is going to be your leader now. David is going to be in second. Michael is going to be in third. Nagy in fourth. Davis in fifth. Pack is going to be in sixth. Philip in seventh. Nathan in eighth. Michael Boone in ninth. And Austin Johnston is going to round out your top 10. So we are going to rack and stack these drivers. Russ, when are we going to have our next stage break?
The next stage is going to be on lap 130, and then we'll go to the end from there. But, man, 63 laps, technically clean, clean and green. We had a little incidents that we saw, but no caution was drawn. So it was a great start to the race by all these drivers to go the first 63 laps, green flag.
Yeah, and as the lights are out there on the pace track, we certainly appreciate everybody tuning in here to the American Racing Network. We are in the battle for round 2 here at QFRL. Certainly appreciate everybody joining us. If you are watching us there on Twitch or YouTube, we certainly would appreciate a like, maybe even a follow if you have not done that yet. Thank you very much. We are stacking these drivers back up. They are getting ready to go green here again at Nashville. We are already 63, 64 laps into this 210 lap race. These drivers clean and green all the way through that first stage, as now we're going to get ready to rack them back up and do stage 2.
Zach is going to have control of this field too, so he's going to get a great launch on this. I guarantee you that, and hopefully see if he can. He's hoping he can hold on to that going into turn one. Look at that jump he got.
And that Geico restart. So now that 93 car with a fantastic jump, that is going to allow the 41 car to get underneath the David. And these drivers are going to be fighting here on the exit of this turn. Now, David with a fantastic run on the exit of 2. That is going to allow him to get in front, not only get in front of him, but now Nagy is going to start putting some pressure on this 41 car on the outside here in 3 and 4. He's going to have a fantastic drive. Oh, he's going to get in the wall a little bit there, Russ.
Fighting hard on this restart here, but that's one thing that I think Zach is going to like to see is watch them guys battle it out. I think he was hoping for that David was going to have to fight a little bit harder for that P2 as he could really kind of stretch this lead out and then focus on tire saving. But looks like Zach and David both were able to get away a little bit, and now they're going to try to settle back in and get them tires back underneath them.
Yeah, there's going to be battles all over this track as we look at these drivers now. We've got another one in the wall, and we're shifting. It looks like Nelson down at the apron trying to dodge some drivers there in the 75. This 4 car trying to find a way around that 33 with a great run later on in that first stage, staying out and saving as much fuel as he could. Now he is going to be side by side with Essery going in. This 5 car in front of them. My goodness, Russ, we have races all over this track right now.
Yeah, it looks like the top 5 have finally strung themselves out, but going back a little bit further in the field, yeah, they're still battling it out.
Yeah, we're going to try to bring you all of the action, but my goodness, they are stacked nose to tail all the way through. This is Nelson. Nelson in 12th position, but you can say from 6th all the way through about 15th. There is no breathing between these drivers. The 33 car now on the outside. Andrew Davis fighting here as the 57 is going to sneak underneath of him. That is Nathan Christensen is going to find his way underneath of the 33. This is a great defensive position on fresh tires in that 33. And man, he is still holding himself there on the outside really strong on top of that 54 car. 54 rolling through the center very nicely. He's going to have him cleared, so put this 54 up to the next position. That's going to be 10th. That is going to be 10 positions from where he started. So fantastic drive so far for this driver. We're going to go right back up here because it looks like now 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th all in a line starting to battle, getting nose to tail. Does look like Michael sneaking up on David once again. Both of those drivers getting a little pushy on the exit of 4. And folks, when you get a little pushy there, it's because you start to apply the throttle a little early in the apex. And when you apply that throttle a little early in the apex at Nashville, it wants to push out toward the wall. And that's either going to be one of two things. You're going to have to either back off or you're going to have to put more wheel in it. So these drivers don't want to do either one of those things. So they've got to be very, very careful on where that right front is. Now we showed Jordan Lane with a crash. We're going to go back and take a look at him. Oh, and it does look like the 89 is going to get underneath of him. The 99 just holding him real tight there. And he is going to come to a stop and get himself right back on track there, Russ. But little bit of fender banging. That's going to bring out the caution.
Yeah, our first actual racing-related caution, here tonight. And we've seen a couple of instances in the same process as what just happened, and we didn't get a caution. So kind of surprising that they actually tossed a caution for that one there. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers decide to do now. I mean, they're still got less than 10 laps on this set of tires. They're going to come in, top off on fuel, take any tires at all. Looks like the leaders aren't, but.
Man, they're going to miss that. I do believe that they could probably start to clutch this thing now, which would be about my assumption would be that they are clutching. And let's not assume. Let's see if we can go on board with a driver and see what they're going to do. Yeah, he's going to be a second gear. He is not trying to shut this car off. As you can see, somebody getting the wave around there. Lucky Dog coming around this first and second place driver. Let's see if we can go on board with Mr. Zach Lockett. He's going to keep that car in fifth. So Russ, this driver is out here in fuel saving mode.
Yeah, when you're cruising around under caution, you know, you're trying to save a little bit of fuel. If you don't have the ability to clutch it or you don't want to clutch it, you want to roll it in fifth gear because it less RPMs, less fuel being used. If you're down there like David was, you know, running second gear, you're at a higher RPM, you're ended up burning more fuel while you're just slowly pacing around this track.
Zach Lockett, one of your more dominant drivers tonight. I believe he's going to lead the most laps so far tonight. He has really shown himself to put a great pace down here at Nashville. It shows, Russ, it looks like he's pretty quick there on the jump, and he is also great about midway through and the end of these runs. So it looks like this 93 driver very, very strong tonight. I do like David, and I like what David's doing on these longer runs. It shows a lot of patience for him. As we see now, these lights are already going to go out here on the pace truck. We are getting ourselves ready to go back green.
Yeah, you know, like we said earlier, you know, like, you know, we know Zach. We've worked with Zach in the past, and you know, I used to race against Zach back, you know, like a year ago, and to see his progression in the last year or so has been really phenomenal. I mean, he has improved so much as a driver, been able to, you know, really learn how to save his car, save those tires, and you know, he's really been a contender in just about anywhere that he goes. So to see him up here tonight really is not a surprise to me, especially, again, being here at Nashville Super Speedway. It's probably one of his better tracks that he runs on the service.
Yeah, that is true. We did talk to Zach a little bit earlier before this race, and he does like this track. So it does look like it's good for him. And this track is very, very difficult when you consider the mile-and-a-half tracks and the fact that it is really bottom lane dominant. You can defend and get some fantastic runs there on the outside as this pace truck looks like it's going to get ready to peel off here. Russ, we're going to bring these drivers back to green as it looks like Zach once again bringing them here into the Geico restart zone. We are going to check our gear, make sure we are in the right gear, and it does look like Zach is, and he is going to get a fantastic jump off of the grip here in this 93 machine at 41. Again, with a great start following Zach down into that turn, he is going to put some pressure on David Harris. It does look like he could close the door and get that pass done, and he is going to do that. So put this driver up to second, down the 16 underneath of David here for the third position.
He's under fire right now after this restart. I mean, he's about to be put 3 wide, it looks like, here in a second. They thought better of it. But it looks like David, not such a great restart this time.
Yeah, it looked like he struggled just a little bit, as now we might have a battle for second. No, we do not, but it looks like David able to get himself back down to the bottom, start to work that again, but Nagy is going to be on the outside. He is getting a fantastic run there on the exit at 2, and it looks like Essery might be trying to follow him through on that high side. Oh, we might go 3. We did not go 3 right there. It looks like it. Oh, and we're still working on 3 right here, Russ. There we go. 3 wide into turn 1.
These guys want to go 3 wide. They're just trying to figure out how to make it work.
Well, they did. They are stagger 3 now. Nagy's still up top, and he is going to get a fantastic run there on the exit of 2. He is going to stay right behind and right beside of David and right in front of Essery. Nagy, again, just a fantastic run on the exit of 4. Man, he is burning some tire, but he is letting that thing eat on the outside right there. I believe he is going to get this pass done. This is going to put David back yet another position. And David's going to get a nice run through 1 and 2. I believe Nagy can close the door right here if he wants to and get himself down. And there he goes, Russ. He's going to get that pass done.
Yeah, like I said, you know, back, four spot, three or four spots now since this restart. You know, David just trying to find himself into a position where he can just settle back down and start making his laps here again.
I really like what Michael is doing here. Little early on the throttle right there, but he is underneath of Zach. And if there's anything that we know here, Russ, is These next gens love clean air there on that left front fender, so if you can get underneath of a driver, you can hear him just touch the throttle a little bit right there, and that's what created that push in that car. A little bit more patient on the throttle. The apex of that turn would really do him wonders, but you can see he is diving underneath in just a brilliant move to get that clean air there on that left front fender, to get the max amount of traction that he can. You know, folks, these next gens are so aero dependent, and he is able to get underneath and get that turn right there. The only time he gets in that dirty air is when Zach is in the apex of that turn. And so this driver is doing a great job saving tire while staying close to your leader.
You mentioned, saving tire, because if you go back on board and we're just quiet, you could just hear how angry that those tires are with this concrete surface that these guys are on. You can just hear those tires screaming when he goes into the corners.
Speaking of angry, what about 2x2 here? And this is third all the way back to your sixth position, is now Nagy underneath of the 16 driver. And here comes Essery back up. And don't forget David there falling back a couple of positions, starting to fight his way back up. The 16 now, he is going to be on the outside. Kenneth Pack is going to fight for his life, as now the 4 underneath of him, trying to get that pass done. I believe he is going to let that happen and try to sneak back in line. But these drivers, nose to tail here, battling for that third position.
Yeah, they're really fighting it out. I mean, doesn't really seem like they're saving much of anything at this point. I mean, we still got, 45 laps to the stage break, and we know that, right around lap 30, between 30 to 35, a lot of these guys are going to come down pit road. So not saving anything at this point, John.
No, I don't believe they are. James Nelson really on the back end here of the 53. He is trying to find his way around. They are super tight here on the track. Again, trying to work his way up, trying to get those stage points. Really important for these drivers, as he is going to, I believe, sneak underneath and get that pass done. Let's see if we can go right back here. He's going to do that. Put that 53 back in position. Put Nelson up to 14th. Now we are going to go back. Oh, and we've got a driver off the track. Looks like we missed that. This is Nathan Christensen has went off track. Let's see what happened to Nathan here. I don't know what happened there, Russ. It looks like he just turned hard left and come off the track. Did he get a little loose?
That was kind of awkward looking. I'm really not sure. It didn't look like he got loose. I mean, maybe a slight wheel issue. I mean, that did not look like a loose left turn to me. That looked like a malfunctional left turn.
87 laps now, coming to 88. Zach Lockett still out front, but do not look now, because here he comes. Michael in this 41. We rode on board with him a little bit earlier, getting that turn down. It looks like Zach starting to push this car a little bit more than he wants to, because you can see that driver just pushing right into the center of that turn. Let's watch Zach. As you can see, he's just missing that bottom line. And that is allowing the 41 to get some much needed air on the front end. I think, Russ, if you're out there leading and you're Zach, you really want to just choke the air off of this 41 if you possibly can. But he is able to stay high on that track, diming that turn off. Zach putting some fantastic lap times down, but man, he is not getting away from Michael right now.
Yeah, I've seen Michael, I think it was the last lap. He came out of turn 4. I think he got the wall just a little bit, which allowed Zach to put a little bit of space between them. But, Michael's starting to kind of reel him back in right now.
And we saw the pass a little bit earlier. Nelson in that 75 putting the pass on that 53. The 53 back around now. And now he is under fire from this 3 car of Gregory Robinson, trying to find his way around. You can see it looks like Nelson has taken that huge diamond into that turn, and Gregory Moore with a straight line approach on the entry. Looks like this is going to cool down this battle just a little as they go around here. It looks like Nelson has found a good rhythm once again.
This battle for third is kind of heating up just a little bit. I've been watching, Nagy just kind of maybe trying to set it in just a little bit lower than what Michael is, or what Chris is, but looks like we got a battle here for fourth. David looking to the inside.
Yeah, I will tell you, when you are nose to tail, just a little push is all it takes for a driver to get their nose underneath of you. That's exactly what happened there to Nagy. Nagy's going to take that really high line here in through 1 and 2. That is a viable line, but David is going to be able to close the door and get that pass done. It looks like Nagy's going to push him down that straightaway. And David's starting to battle his way up from that poor start. And, man, he just got steamrolled on that start, starting to work his way back up now, as is Kenneth Pack there in the 16. He, again, was steamrolled as he's stuck on the outside. He's starting to work his way back up now.
That's one of them things, that, especially with these next-gen cars, if you have a bad restart and you kind of get freight train there, it's really imperative that you get yourself just back into a nice, smooth rhythm, get back into your own pace, turning your own laps, and eventually you start seeing yourself work your way back up towards the front there. But that's one of the mental things about driving these cars is, okay, I got jumped on this start, I lost 4 spots, now I just got to kind of settle in and try to get them back.
And it looks like as he has let those tires come back to him, that's exactly what has happened here, Russ. As we're going to go right back up here up front, Zach Lockett still holding off the 41 car. Looks like the 41 starting to push now as he's going to work his way up the track about a lane and a half. Zach still hitting those marks like he wanted to from the very beginning. So this driver is starting to put some pace on the 41. Last lap, a 29.9 to a 30.1 for your second place driver. So now about a tenth to 2/10 faster is going to be Zach Lockett to your second place driver. Now, not to be outdone here, just a tick shy of Zach is going to be your third place driver of Esri, now working his way back up, put this 4 car into third position as him and David are going to start to track down this 41 machine.
That's for John. I was just kind of back here a little bit further back in the field watching this battle between looks like Greg Robinson and Austin Johnson. They had a really good side-by-side battle going on here for quite a few laps. So I was kind of busy watching that.
Yeah, 13th and 14th place here, the 3 car and the 77 battling each other. It doesn't look like the 77 wants to allow the 3 to get away from him. And you can see Nelson is still holding up. We checked on Nelson a little bit earlier as him and the 3 car were extremely tight. They look to be about the same distance apart now. 77, Russ, starting to fall back just a little from these 2 drivers.
Yeah, just a little bit. Like I said, they were side by side there for a couple laps, and once they made the pass, he just kind of started fading off just a little bit.
Yeah, Tyrone here in that second, or I'm sorry, in that 2 car, not the second car, but in the 2 cars. And now we're going to look at Austin Johnson coming down pit road in that 77. That was a battle just a few laps ago that you called out. Now he deciding to come down pit road. And let's see what he's going to do here. Is he going to take forward, get fuel? It looks like we're really close to that second stage.
Yeah, I mean, we're about 30 laps away from the stage, but yeah, he was on a little bit older tires. Not too bad, but he was on about the lower 30 lap old tires. So looks like he took 4 there.
Yeah, it looks like he is out of the pits now, Russ. So we'll keep an eye on what kind of lap times he is going to be able to turn now.
Wow. Sorry, I'm watching the 4 car. He just had a heck of a pit entry right there. I don't know how he made that. If he made it, I don't know how he made it.
Oh my goodness, Hara was going to come in, and that's not bad, Russ. The problem is David is going to miss his pit entry because of the 4 car swinging out wide. So he's going to come all the way back around before he can come down pit road. So really that big loser there is going to be David, as now Zach Lockett is going to stay out late, put about 3 seconds on Kenneth Pack there in second position of the 16 car. So when will Zach Lockett decide to come down and pit here?
Well, looks like Zach's on about 36 lap old tires right now, so maybe within the next couple of laps he might come down. Maybe he's looking to push 40 potentially, but he might be able to stay out just a little bit longer.
Well, it did look like there at the end of the run, he was going to be your faster car there on the track. So he is probably trying to milk that for all it is worth. But I can tell you that they are going to run out of tire if they don't come down and get some before this next stage, or you just stay out on these tires, and this is going to be your stage. You're going to give the stage up here, Russ, so that you can have an extra set on the back end of this run if you have a late caution in this race. So Zach with a lot of options here, but right now choosing to stay out and continue to lead this race, up now 3.74 seconds on your second place driver there of Kenneth Pack.
I'm just really kind of curious as to what this tire strategy, or what these tire strategies are going to look like, because like I said earlier, they only have 5 sets of tires, and if if your tires are burned off every 30 laps, you're going to be out of tires by the midway point of this race. As it looks like now we see the 93 coming down pit road to make his pit stop, but so I mean, if these tires are burning off in 30 laps, you've got 5 sets. That's only putting you not even quite halfway in this race, so it's gonna, or just past halfway in this race. So it's going to be really interesting to see how some of these guys can make 5 additional sets of tires last 210 laps.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. That is going to be very, very interesting to see as we come through. I wanted to watch Zach. I want to see if he is going to try to take 4 tires in this car. He is going up on the right-hand side, so we know he's going to get those done. Let's see if it drops down. Yep, and let's see if he goes to the left side. Yes, he is going to get 4 tires here on this run. We're going to go right back up here to the 53 car as he is going to take over this lead right now. I said we were going to go. There we go. Back up to the 53 car. He is going to be your leader as we're going to cycle through these pits. Kenneth Pack is right now currently in the pits. He was your leader when Zach Lockett ducked off. So we're going to see how this is going to play out. Now, I do believe, Russ, that Chris here in this 4 car is going to be your leader in the clubhouse. You can see it looks like Zach is about 5th or 6th in line. Now, he come down quite a bit sooner than what Zach did, so Zach is going to have the fresh tires. He is going to be on the march, but currently this will be your leader once that 53 comes in.
It looks like Zach came out, he's probably going to be about 5th in line, but like you said, he went a couple laps later than what these top guys did, so he should be able to run them down, I would think. Maybe by the end of the stage here. I mean, we can see Zach right there in the picture. So I would assume he'd be able to run them down by the end of the stage. Maybe possibly get his lead back before the end of it.
Yeah, we're going to see how this thing is going to go. But right now, that 53 car is still showing as your leader here. We got a couple of more conversations here in chat. Rita saying that she has come home just to watch this race. So she is rooting on Philip and Chris. So certainly, Rita, we appreciate you coming back to watch this race. We appreciate putting on a good show for you. We hope it's a good show for you. We hope you guys appreciate us here on the American Racing Network. So thank you very much. Now, this 4 car still leading, Russ. We're going to go back leading as far as these drivers that have come into pit. Your drivers that have not pit, let's see if we can set this up for you now. That is that 53 car now getting passed by Zach Lockett. Andrew Davis is going to be in the 2nd position in that 33 machine. Russ, we saw him do this on that first stage, staying out as long as he can. Nathan Christensen in that 57, he is going to be in 3rd position. Tyrone is going to be in 4th. And then we come back to your first driver that has come down pit road, and that is going to be Chris right here in this 4 machine.
Yeah, if these top 4 or 5 drivers that have to come down pit road, come down pit road, that's gonna cycle Chris right back out to the lead. But it's gonna be interesting to see what these guys that are up here right now in the top 4 or 5 that haven't come down pit road, what they're gonna do. I mean, we're 20 laps away from the stage. Are they gonna stay out? Are they gonna take tires? They're gonna take 2 tires. I mean, again, we're kind of in the dark as to what these pit strategies are going to look like, because we're not used to calling races of this length. So it's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I do think that you want to save a set if you possibly can till later on in this race. But the way these races have gone, man, such great respect for all of these drivers here, Russ. Nice and clean. Couple little spins creating some cautions, but nothing crazy. Is now that battle for second is quick, fast, and in a hurry. The 57 now getting by that 33. So it does look like now James has went into the pits. That was that 53 car that we showed earlier leading this race. That is going to put this 57 machine in the lead. So put him up to P1, the 33 to P2, as it looks like he is going to give way to the 77 on fresh tires. So these drivers continuing to stay out, Russ, and run this thing as long as they can, 23 laps before this stage is over.
It's interesting, that's for sure. I don't know much more what to say about it. I mean, like I said, we got totally different strategies all throughout this field, and how they're going to play out at the end of 210 laps is really beyond me at this point.
Yeah, and folks, we're going to reset this for you now because Chris, last lap ran a 29.6 to your leader at a 30.6. So again, just like the first stage, your driver here is the first one that went down pit road. He is a second a lap faster than your leaders right now. Now, he is 16.2 seconds behind your second place driver that is only a couple of tenths behind your first place. So about 16 seconds until this driver overtakes first place. He is certainly going to get there before the end of this stage.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got, closing in on 15 to go, 16 seconds. It's very possible he's definitely going to get there.
Yeah, he does have the 41 right on the back bumper. I will tell you, really like how this 41 has run this race. He is not pushing the issues with any of these drivers. He is settling in, running his pace, and he has been able to do that. Now we're going to see Nathan Christensen is going to take that car down pit road, so that is only going to leave Andrew Davis here in the 33 machine out. He ran long the last time. He was the last driver in the last stage here, Russ, and he is going to do the same thing once again, staying out here on the track, only about 13 and a half seconds behind your second place driver here of Chris. Now the question is going to be, right here is Zach Lockett. Zach was your last driver on that front top five, Russ, that come down pit road. Last lap running a 29.5 to a 29.6 of Chris Esri. So only a tenth faster than what will be your leader here once Andrew Davis comes down pit road.
Yeah, doesn't seem like he's got quite as much speed right now as he did before. Maybe saving just a little bit, but yeah, Andrew currently on 42 lap old tires. Not quite sure how much longer he can stand to be out there. I mean, you can see he's kind of running that middle lane. Don't know if it's by will or by force, but he's definitely on some pretty bad tires right now.
Yeah, he really is, and it's only going to be a matter of time for him before he's got to come down. There's no way. Now, we did have a caution, throughout this stage, so there is going to be a little bit of fuel saving through that, but I don't believe he is going to be able to make this thing. And even if he does, Russ, there's no way he can hold off that four car, who is now only 10 and a half seconds behind him. Last lap, a 29.8 to your 33 driver here at a 30.9. So again, he has lost another second to Chris, and you can see there on the battle box on the bottom right hand corner, you can now see Chris starting to peek into that battle box, now down 9.7 seconds. So he's going to chip away yet again at another second on this driver. He should catch him, Russ, before lap 130.
Yeah, I mean, we're got 10 laps to go before the stage caution comes out. So, I mean, but maybe he still decide to stay out, because I mean, even looking at a potential top 5 in the stage and still be able to get some points and still have that set of tires before the stage break.
Oh, that's
maybe not
really
thinking stage.
Good. Yeah.
Say maybe not thinking stage win, but at least gaining points in the stage.
Yeah, let's see if we can go on board with this. I just want to see, is he attempting to save any sort of fuel, or does he know he is going to have to come in? No, he's even downshifting still, or staying in fourth here on the backstretch with that additional tire wear. He is not even upshifting. Now here he comes, Russ, down pit road.
Not able to make it. Not able to go the distance.
That is going to turn that over here. And now Zach Lockett on the back end. We have not been watching this. He is on the back end of this Ford machine. He is going to have the fresher tires. I think now with about 12 laps to go here in this stage, I'm not sure Chris is going to have a whole lot of fight he can put up. And it looks like Zach's going to get a great run here on the exit of that 2. Staying on the right-hand side.
Yeah, Chris is doing the right thing. He's holding that bottom and he's making Zach go to the top. You see Zach getting the wall there a little bit, making Zach go up to that high side, and going to make it just a little bit more difficult to make that pass. But he's also going to burn a little bit of tire up, in the process. So Chris is doing the right thing by staying on the bottom here and making Zach take the top side if he wants to get by him.
Now that car of Chris's is still rotating really well in both of these turns. When you're up on that high side, you really want that last half of the turn to be yours, and that's what you need to get that great run out. Now Zach is going to be able to do that here. I think he's going to be able to clear him as he comes out of that turn. Yes, he can get that pass done. He's going to duck right down here to the bottom, but again, that car of Zach's not wanting to really stick that yellow line. He is content with running that second line up. Russ, it is a killer because he has been one of your faster, if not the fastest driver here tonight.
I'm not sure if he's if he's doing it by design or if he's just not able to hold it down there. But yeah, I mean everybody else is kind of really wrapping that yellow line a little bit closer than what he's able to or what he is doing. But yeah, it's kind of awkward. See it push it up just a little bit right there coming out of turn 2.
Let's see if we can go on board with Mr. Lockett and take a look.
Listen to those tires, John. Those tires are screaming.
Man, that is all 4 of them yelling. They want to give up, right? 10 laps to go. Give me some relief. But you can hear. So what's happening to Zach, it looks like, on the entry of these turns, that car just really not wanting to bite on the front tires. And you can see it's keeping that car up just a little right off of that line. Now, he did really good there in 3 and 4, but man, this is the fastest car out here on the track right now. Last lap at a 29.9. Chris is right in his tire tracks. I'm sorry. Yeah, he is still the fastest. The third place driver here of Michael at a 29.3, so he is on top of these drivers as well. This 4 car, Chris Essery, is not allowing Zach to get away right now.
I'm not really letting him get away, but he's also not really reeling him back in either. I mean, it looks like Zach might be starting to put a little bit of distance between him and Chris.
Yeah, he's found a really nice line that works for him. You can see he's about half a lane up. He's using that late rotation, getting that car out. He's going to come out about 2 lanes off of the wall, but man, he is making this thing work, Russ. He has played these pit strategies to perfection so far in these first 2 stages. Now, I will tell you, Chris is fighting for everything that he's got, but I just don't think with those older tires he has anything for this 93 machine right now.
Yeah, I mean, unless he's got to hold him back just to see, what the 93 has for the end of this race. But yeah, right now it looks like the 93 is just the class of the field here tonight.
Joshua Barr starting to put some pressure here on Nagy. Nagy, this 98 machine, has shown a ton of speed all the way throughout this race, starting to fall back just a little bit, as now the battle for your 7th position is going to be on 129 and coming to 130 of 210 left. We are well over halfway in this race.
Going to be coming to the next stage caution here this lap too, I believe.
we might be doing that. But while we are doing that, there is going to be a fight here. This is going to be for your third position. That 41, that 16, they are going nose to tail, front to back, fighting for this third position. The 41 has it. That 16 of Kenneth Pack, he wants it. Now only just a tenth or two apart from each other. The 16 with a great run here on the exit of 2. He is going to stay high. 41 is going to go low. Oh, the 60 is going to have a great run here off of 4. He's not going to be able to get that passed on, and that caution is going to come out. Your winner there in that second stage, again, is Zach Lockett in this 93 machine.
Yeah, Zach in that 93 swept both of these stages here so far. Like I said a little bit ago, clearly the dominant car here, but we still got a long way left to go this race, and anything can happen.
All right, so we're going to reset this thing. Your winner there in that second stage is Zach Lockett. Chris Essery is going to be in second. Michael is going to be in third. Kenneth in fourth. David is going to finish fifth. Brian sixth. Nagy is in seventh. Barr is going to finish eighth. Chavez in ninth, and then Gregory Robinson there is going to be your top 10. As you can see now, Russ, we are coming down. We are going to get some service here, and we're going to get this thing back out here for this very last stint, where we're going to run this thing here to 210 laps and call this a race here at Nashville. What a fantastic couple of stages that we have seen.
Yeah, for sure. These guys have definitely impressed me. 130 laps. We've seen one racing-related caution, in these 130 laps, and showing a lot of patience, a lot of respect for one another out there, and great to be able to see such great battles out there while still being clean too.
Woo, what a battle off of pit road. It looks like everybody's going to hold serve just a little bit. David Hara is going to decide to bring himself up here to fourth position. Michael is going to come out in third. Chris is going to be in second. Zach Lockett is going to be your leader coming out of the pits once again. Let's see if we can get back up here to Zach. So we are going to reset this race. Stage 1, stage 2 is done. That is over. It is time now to look to what we have left here in this race. And Russ, if I am the 93, if I'm the 4, if I'm any of these drivers here on the lead lap, I'm trying to split this thing right down the middle, maximize my tires, maximize my fuel consumption, and man, I want to let her go out and eat and get everything I can.
Yeah, for sure. Just under 80 laps left in this race. Split it down the middle. 40-40, 38-38, somewhere in there, wherever that calculation comes out to be. But split it down the middle, let her eat, and let her rip tater chip.
And it looks like with the lights off on that pace truck, here we go. We are going to rack them and stack them yet again. Zach Lockett again bringing them down to get ourselves going for this very last stage here in this race at Nashville. This is round 2 here at QFRL. We certainly appreciate everybody tuning in. All of those people that are out there chatting with us throughout the night. We appreciate that. It makes our jobs much easier. So thank you very much for that. And we are going to stack these drivers back up again here, Russ.
Yeah, we're about to get this last stage underway. Like I said, just under 80 laps left in this race, and going to be interesting to see what these guys decide to do for pit strategy. Like I said, cut it down the middle. Not exactly sure how many sets these guys got left in them, whether they got 1 or 2, but they're coming down to the Geico restart zone, getting ready to fire off this last stage, John.
Zach Lockett in that zone is going to fire that thing off. He is going to put that in first gear and take off. Another great start there. Again, the 41 machine is going to be there on the bottom, getting a great start. The 4 on the outside. 41 is going to drive up just a little bit there in the turn. You can see him right there through the apex. The 4 is going to get a good run off of the exit of 2. He is going to be able to retain that spot. I do believe the 4, yep, he is now going to be able to come back down, as now the battle is going to be on here between Kenneth and your driver in this 41 machine for the 3rd position. David now looking to the inside of the 16. He is wanting to work his way back up forward.
Yeah, David had actually really good restart on that one there, and working his way back up towards the front. Seen him up there a little while ago, fighting for the lead and battling with Zach up there. That bad restart on the last competition caution there. Now he's starting to work his way back up to the front.
Nagy, Nelson, Burkett, Barr, all of these drivers here as they're going to look to almost be a staggered three. Going through here, the 77 and the 98 of Nagy are side by side. That 77 has a nice little pace on the outside there, running about that middle line, getting all the way to the wall and the exit of these turns, is getting some fantastic runs off of the exit of 2 and the exit of 4 down. Nelson is going to start taking advantage there. He is going to get around Nagy on that outside, so it does look like this driver in the 98 starting to get steamrolled just a little bit on that inside line.
Yeah, just a little bit. Maybe the top side's getting enough rubber in it to give it just a little bit of extra grip, give these guys another lane to actually feel comfortable playing with.
Nelson now getting a push by the 54 getting out in front of Nagy as he is going to hang on to the outside. And it looks like Nelson's going to take that lower line, start saving tires. The 54 is going to stick that thing on the outside. He might have a run here on Nelson, as now looks like the 35 is starting to look over at Nagy. He is going to shoot to the outside.
What's going on right here?
Wow, he is going to have a good run on the exit of 2, the 35. Josh Barr out there on the outside, pushing this 98 machine, keeping him pinched down to the bottom. You've got to think that Nagy is just trying to be patient here, Russ, knowing these tires are going to come in, just not wanting to push this car now with about 60, 70 laps to go. I don't think he wants to hurt these tires. I think he's going to try to split this race and try to save these. We have seen a lot of speed out of that 98, so look for him to start coming forward a little bit later on in this run.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now is the time you really want to try to make a decision as to what your strategy is going to be for these last 60 laps of the race and 60, 70 laps of this race. Whether you're going to try to save tire, try to stretch it from halfway, try to short pit and make a longer second half, or go long and make a shorter second half. So we're going to see what these guys are going to decide here as this last stage rolls on out.
Yeah, and I think you have to decide that early, right? Because if you're going to run this stage and you think, if I'm in 10th, I want to try to push this front part of this stage really hard to get some track position, then once I burn those tires off, I'm going to short pit, have a little bit longer second stint so that I can maximize my tire wear and track position. But man, I got to tell you, this 93 and this 4 machine have been glued to each other all the way throughout this race, and this is no different now. Again, we talked about this before, that 93 running about that middle lane, and the 4 just stuck right on the yellow line. This is going to be a battle, Russ, that might come down to pit strategy, but these two drivers have just been connected at the hip all night long.
Yeah, for sure. It's like the 93 there, Zach Locker get a decent sized lead, and then the 4 car would be able to run him right back down. So, I mean, maybe the 4 car is just kind of biding his time. Maybe he's got a little bit more that we're not seeing right now, and he's just trying to size up Zach Lockett and see what he's going to be able to do come the end of this race, as he's going to try to fight Zach for this win.
He has been very methodical. You very well might be right. He has just stayed inside of his racing zone, what he can do. You can see right now, if I'm this driver here, Russ, I'm thinking, okay, Zach's pushing up just a little bit in the apex of those turns. He might be giving that thing just a little bit more throttle than what I am. So if he can keep this car rotated underneath of Zach all the way through the turns, he knows that over time, Zach's tires are going to be a little bit worse off than his are. And as you can see, again, just underneath of him, as Zach pushes up a little bit, if this 4 just continues to rotate underneath of him, I think you're going to see this 4 be able to take this lead very, very soon.
Yeah, it's quite possible. Like I said, we all know, he's got the number 4 on his car, and who do we know in NASCAR that drove that number 4 car that come the end of the race, you're like, where did he come from? He's always had that little bit of an extra, little bit extra that he didn't show in the very beginning of the races or in the middle part of the races. He waited till the end when it counted to show what he had, and that could be very well what we're seeing out of Chris here in that number 4.
very curious to what has happened to the 98 in Nagy. I'm not sure. He continues to fall back here, Russ. Now under fire here for the 12th position, showing a ton of pace early on. I don't know if he come out, with some older tires. I'm not certain exactly what happened, but he continues to fall back through this field.
Yeah, no, I mean, according to my calculations, he's on the same laps as everybody else. So I don't think he's on any older tires.
It looks like
maybe the car is just kind of going away from him a little bit.
It is quite possible as this track changes. Let's see if we can pull up. Now that you said that, let's go over to our weather. And we're going to see if we can pull up, if I can find it here, on exactly where we are at. Does look like that track temp has dropped just a little bit, Russ. They're to 76 degrees now. So there is a ton of grip. And sometimes that makes it even worse because you can't put that car on that right rear where there's a lot of grip because it is going to be right front dominant for sure.
Yeah, 100%. You know, the more grip, the more pushy, the more right rear you're going to tear up a little. So, I mean, if it was a little bit warmer, you may not be burning up that right front. You see Zach getting the wall just a little bit right there coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, he has done that from time to time throughout these runs here. Is now he is still that Nagy in that 98 still under fire here from Tyrone. He is not going to give this position up easily as he again is rotating really good there on the bottom on the entry of the turn. Russ, as that 98 looks like he is struggling to keep this car down at the yellow line.
Yeah, I'm not sure what really happened to that 98, but yeah, like you said, it looks like he's really struggling right now to be able to keep that car down there on the yellow.
All right, we're going to go right back up here now. Josh Barr, the 77 machine, still battling with each other. This 77 here on our stream looks like it's almost a little hazy or fuzzy as now he is going to get into the wall there on the exit of 4. So, when we see these track temps drop, what happens is you kind of get that, Rush, you get this illusion that you're going to be able to throttle up a little bit sooner. And if you see these drivers getting into that wall early on the exit of these turns, it is because they throttled up or got back into the gas a little early than what they should have and did not allow that car to continue to rotate down to the bottom of the track. So as you can see this, they get a little more grip. They think they can get on the gas a little bit sooner, and then they just run out of track here at the exit of these turns.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to say I've fallen victim to that myself. You see that track temperature slowly falling, and it kind of becomes like a false sense of security. Like, oh, I can go in here. I know I've got this grip. I know it's going to stick. I know it's not going to hook out from underneath me. And then the wall finds you because you just pushed right up into it.
Yeah, that does happen. Rita there in chat saying you guys are doing an awesome job because we know exactly what's going on. Well, we appreciate that, Rita. There are a lot of battles that are going on throughout this track, so we try to bring those to you as best that we can. Now, Nelson, it looks like he is now getting under fire from the 54. These two drivers have been connected at the hip all the way throughout the night. Now, Nelson is in 7th, and the 54 there in 8th. These two, nose to tail, battling here for that 7th position. 153 of 210 to go.
These guys they're winding these laps down pretty quick. I mean, that's one of the things that I was thinking about earlier on too when we were talking about this pit strategy. We talked about you got to kind of decide your last stage pit strategy a little early. And when you see a race like what we've had so far, these first 153 laps, we've seen one racing related caution. You can almost bank on this thing going green. You're going to bank on a long run. So it makes it a little easier when you're not sitting there like, oh man, I don't know what I should do tire wise because I don't know if is the caution going to come out? Are we going to go green flag? When you see stuff like what we've seen here tonight, it makes it really easy to make a pit decision here in this last stage.
Yeah, I agree. Now we're going to come back here. The 33 car, we saw him, Russ, in both stages run long, starting now to put pressure on this 98 as the 98 machine continues to fall back. This is going to be a battle for the 13th position. Nagy has it, the 33 wants it. He's going to get underneath the Zoltan, and there you go. It looks like this is going to be just a matter of time. The 98 is going to have a great run out of the turn, but this 33 turning some fantastic lap times. This is just a kind of a matter of time before this pass gets done, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how long this 33 is going to go in this last stage here. You know, we saw him go well over 40 laps in the first stage, well over 40 laps in that second stage. So, you know, it's going to be really interesting to see if you know, if he kind of cuts that down the middle, if he still decides to go long to try to give himself a little bit fresher tires come the end of this thing. But it's all going to pan out as to you know, the track position. You know, is he going to have enough time if he pits late with those fresh tires to get back up through the field to try to make a push to the front?
David now starting to put some pressure here on the 41 for your third position. This is going to be for a podium spot here. 157 to 210 to go. David tracking down this 41 machine. He has done this kind of methodically, lap after lap after lap, as it does look like now the 41 super tight on the exit, having to check up a little bit. That's going to open the door. And it looks like this pass is going to be done without a little bit of a fight there from the 41, as he says, hey, you are faster right now. You go on. Let me not slow both of us down where Kenneth Pack is going to catch up to us.
Yeah, I mean, there's still, you know, 50 laps to go in this race. We're closing in on 50 to go. Still plenty of time to make a comeback. We still got the pit stops coming in. So there's no sense in, you know, trying to fight for that position right now and slowing you both down.
Nelson and the 54 continuing to battle here. It looks like Brian has found something. Again, it looks like the 75 pushing on exit. The 54 having some fantastic exit speed is able to track him down, but the 75 getting in as we see some drivers starting now to get on and off of pit road. Now that 41 starting to take a back seat here as David making that pass for third. So put him up to third position. It doesn't look like the 4 is too far out in front, but Zach Lockett in this 93 machine starting to walk away a little bit here, Russ, 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, you know, not sure if you know, if the 4 is going into kind of tire saving mode, or if you know, something happened there where he, you know, maybe got a little tight, got a little pushy, got a little loose, even maybe. You know, that kind of created that separation. But yeah, 93 definitely checking out at this point.
50 laps to go. It'll be 49 coming through the start-finish line. Zach Lockett stretching this lead out, which was 1.2, now 1.4. Let's take a look at the lap times. Last lap, a 30.17. Chris at a 30.3. So he's losing a couple of tenths a lap. And it looks like David and the 41 machine are starting to run the 4 car down. So, Russ, maybe the 4 car given a little too much early on to try to stay on pace with Zach, starting to fall back to your third and fourth place drivers now.
Could very well be. I mean, we saw him right on the back bumper of that 93 early on in this final stage, and you know, yeah, maybe he just kind of burned his stuff up just a little bit early.
Now, 48 laps to go. Let's see if we can go back and take a look at this battle as Nelson still in front of Brian in that 54. They are nose to tail. They are the tightest battle out here on the track. It does look like Kenneth Pack starting to put some pressure on Robinson. We'll go and look at that battle here in a second too. But right now, these two drivers are really arguing over 7th position on the track. Man, the 75 is getting off of these turns really well. Russ, it looks like he might be pushing a little bit in the apex, but he has plenty of right front to make that turn. Now the 54 is going to look underneath just a little bit. He's not going to be able to make that move, but he's going to get closer and closer. Now looking to the outside here of the 75. 75 going to close the door.
I wonder if maybe the 75 might have missed the entry to turn 3 on that last lap, because he was really a little bit further up the track than what you want to be, and that allowed that 54 to really close in on him on that on the exit there. He's up there again.
Yeah, 54 is getting a nice turn, nice entry into 3. That's going to put him right on the back end of James Nelson.
It looks like that 54 gets a lot better run off of turn 4 than what James is able to run on that little bit of a higher mid line than what he is, but looks like that 54 definitely gets a better run off of the corners than right now than what that 75 is.
I agree. Those two drivers behind. Now he's going to shoot down to the inside. It looks like James is going to take that high side, maybe just letting this 54 go, knowing that he's faster right now in this race. No, he's going to try to cross him back over. I thought maybe Rusty was going to let him go, but he is not going to let him go. He is going to stay on the inside of this driver, and now he's going to push up. They're going to get really close in the apex of this turn. Now we're going to go 3 wide on the exit as a lap car is going to take them 3 wide here in that 89 machine.
89 car just like, you guys are going to play around. I'm just going to go. Excuse me.
I'll tell you, sometimes you're running along and you're just clicking away laps, and the next thing you know, you are 3 wide on the exit of 4, and that is exactly what happened to those 3 drivers there. As now you see another driver on some fresh rubber there in the 99. Coming back, he's going to put himself in between the 54 and the 75, as now that battle is going to die down. So we're going to go back here and take a look at this battle, as now Nagy starting to work his way back forward. We saw this pass a little earlier where Tyrone got around him. Now Nagy is starting to work his way forward and is looking underneath of this 2 machine here for 11th.
Might be the 98 might have been playing possum just a little bit, you know. Maybe his setup is definitely on the long run. He just had to wait for the car to come to him to be able to start making these spots back up.
Well, come to him, it has that 77 machine is going to be the next up. The 32 kind of in the middle. He is 18th on the field. The 32 driving it really hard in, almost to the back bumper of the 77. He's going to stay high and get out of the way. I think Nagy's going to get this pass done, but once he does, he is going to set his sights on the 77 machine here.
Slowly, methodically picking them off one at a time. These laps are winding down, coming down to 40 to go here. We still got that one pit stop, but maybe as part of that final pit strategy.
Well, we do have quite a few drivers: James Nelson, Josh Barr, Jordan Lane, Michael, Tyler Nelson, Miklos, Tommy Osborne. They're all coming down or have come down pit road. Tyrone now down pit road as Nagy's going to make that pass, Russ, and he is going to put himself another position up. Now, if he was essentially playing possum or allowing those tires to come in little late, as we are now about 40 laps to go in this race. Now 39 laps to go in this race. He is going to need to get down pit road to get those tires changed, and he is going to have to hit that loud pedal if he is going to get himself in this top 5.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, if we're seeing so many guys already out pit road, what are these leaders going to do? We got Zach Lockett, Chris, and David all out front. Michael, all on, closing in on 40 lap old tires. They're going to have to come down here, before too long, because those older tires start wearing and those new ones start coming in. Those guys don't have to come back down pit road again.
Yeah, now if you're Lockett here, Russ, he's about 3.7 seconds up. So he has really started to put a ton of pace between him and that second place driver there of Chris Esri. Now new tires are going to come out and throw a monkey wrench. And what Zach's going to do, he's going to touch the wall on exit, but he is putting a ton of time between him and that driver in second position. If I'm Zach, I'm running this thing out. You're not going to gain 3.5 seconds on me in 1 lap, even 2 laps on fresh tires. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride this thing out until second, third, or fourth is going to come down. That's going to be the drivers that I'm racing here to the finish.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting. Looks like Zach's coming down right now, John. So he's not waiting for second, third, or fourth.
Man, we did now. It looks like David is going to come in hot mode right behind him. So here comes your leader. He is going to come down pit road. Now Kenneth Pack is going to be with him. Hera is going to be there in that police machine that you see behind Zach Lockett. Those drivers now coming down pit road. That's going to be about lap 174 of 210. That is going to turn it over to Chris. Chris is going to need to be down pit road ASAP, Russ, as now he's going to stay out 1 more lap. But he really needs to come down pit road along with that 41 machine right behind him.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, this is the money stop. This is the last one of the race. In my eyes, because you gotta be thinking we're going green to the finish. So he's got to make sure too when he gets on the pit road. We've seen him get a little sideways coming to pit road, so he's got to make sure he gets down there without speeding, not getting any kind of penalties, get into his box clean, get back out there and go fight for this win.
Yeah, and it does look like he's going to stay out just another lap. I'm just really curious to the thought process here, because you want to make sure that you have the freshest tires, and he will have the freshest tires amongst those drivers, but you don't want to play catch up where you're trying to run some driver down. I would rather lead this thing from the front and get into a battle, but to each their own. And here he comes now. You can see that 4 car down under power, the 41 right behind him, as now it looks like the 4 really hard on the binders. What a fantastic pit entry by both of these drivers in the 4 and the 41. Now coming down pit road, so that is going to cycle this thing back around. Now we're going to see this when it gets cycled around, that the 93 machine is going to take over this lead. He is currently showing in the 3rd position, but your 2 front drivers, Esri and the 41 machine and Michael, are going to be down pit road. And Zach's going to take this lead here as he comes around the start-finish line.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of a lead he comes out with once Chris and Michael come off of pit road here.
Yeah, it looks like Michael and Chris are going to continue to fall back. Chris, he is going to come out, it looks like, in about 6th position. And that is going to put him, we will see when this thing clicks off, but I'm going to assume that's about 4.5 seconds behind your leader here of Zach Lockett. Now, Kenneth Pack, who has shown a ton of speed, he is going to be in 2nd position. Right behind him is going to be this police machine there, David. David, having a slower pit stop, is going to find himself in 3rd. So as we stack these back up, Russ, just to give everybody a rundown, Zach Lockett is your leader right now. Kenneth Pack is in 2nd. David is going to be in 3rd. Nelson is going to be in 4th. Now, Nelson come down at around 167, so he has some older tires, maybe even 2 tires here, with Brian in your 5th position, up 15 positions from the start there, and it looks like he is going to get around. Again, these 2 drivers nose to tail again, Russ.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy watching this, how this is all played out. Oh, you see Chris get a little bit loose there coming out of the corner. He's currently, P5. He's going to have to run down Brian and David and Kenneth to get back to Zach. And, there's not many laps between them on tires, so he's going to have to run these guys back down.
Yeah, and he's going to start working on this 54 machine. Now, if he gets in front of the 54, you're going to look at Chris being in 4th with the freshest tires, but he's going to be right around 3 seconds behind your 2nd and 3rd place drivers. And those 2nd and 3rd place drivers are really close to one another, but 54 doing a fantastic job right now. That last lap time running a 29.6, your 5th place driver running a 29.6 as well. So 54 now getting a little tight on the exit. That is going to pull the 4 car back in. I believe he's going to get this pass done pretty easily. But we're going to go back up here because we do have a battle here for your 2nd place. The 16 machine has it. Your driver in this police machine of David O'Hara is wanting that position. Now just a couple of tenths between these 2.
We've seen David, before up there fighting his way up to the top or to the front. And, he's looking to do it again here in this, the final 30 laps of this race.
David is your fastest driver out on the track right now. He is looking underneath. He wants that 2nd position. Zach ran a 29.5 to a 29.5 with your third place driver as well. So he is a bit faster than the 16. Now, the question is going to be, how hard is it going to be to get around him for that second position so that he can try to run down Zach? But Zach with a 1.8 second lead, I believe, Russ, this is going to be hard for anybody to be able to pass him, because he has shown to be the fastest driver out on the track when you start to get a little bit aware, as we're now going to be about 25 laps to go here to the checkered flag.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough, especially too considering, as we can see, these guys are trying to battle each other for second and third, but they're also having to deal with lap traffic as well, and that's going to kind of hurt them too, to try to catch up to Zach. As long, Zach being a single car up there, he can kind of weave his way through his own traffic one car at a time, but these guys are fighting each other while trying to work their way through traffic. Might slow them down just enough to where neither one of them gets Zach at the end of this.
Yeah, it looks like Osborne right in front of these drivers now. The 53 machine is going to drive that puppy in there, but it does look like David is going to make that pass on the 16, so put him up to second position, 16 back to third. And now they're going to set their sights on Lockett, but Lockett about 2.5 seconds up the road is going to be a struggle here, as now Nelson is going to come under fire by Robinson there in the 3 machine. So these two drivers, again, they found themselves, as the 3 is going to get tight, but he is going to bounce right off of the wall and keep this thing rolling. No harm to the right side of this vehicle. Now, he is going to put Nelson under danger here, as they're going to fight for the 7th position.
I don't know what's on there for P7.
All right, let's go back here as Nagy working his way forward. We saw this a little bit earlier with that 2 machine able to get around the 98. Then the 98 later on in this run, able to find some speed and get back around him. It looks like that might be the same thing that's happening here, as the 2 rotating the center very well. Nagy looks like he is on that tire saving mission once again, taking a little bit higher line here in 1 and 2.
Yeah, 22 laps to go. You really can't be saving too much tire at this point. Now it's one of those situations of you got to run what you got and get going, because the laps are winding down to 22 to go. You gotta get them where you can take them right now.
Yeah, this driver here in the 54, Russ, he's been really impressive. He has worked his way back, as Tommy Osborne there is going to get out of the way and let these drivers go around. But he has been impressive working his way through this field. Him and Nelson have been tied at the hip throughout most of this race, but he is now finding his way forward, and he is looking to the back end of this driver here, trying to pick off this 5th position from the 41, but it looks like the 41 is going to get some pretty good runs out of both of that 4 and that 2 there, and put a little space between him and that next driver.
Yeah, that's what he wants to see right now, just that little extra space. Any space you can get right now is what you want to see.
Yeah, Zach is still fighting that lap traffic. He was able to get around most of those. He is going to be able to put some good lap times down now. However, that allowed these drivers to go from 2.5 seconds to 2.15 to Zach. So they're closing in a little bit. But now, of course, Zach having to deal with that lap traffic is what put that gap and started to shrink it. But it looks like now David is going to struggle to get around this lap car, and that is going to put the 16 back to his outside, battling again here, 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Zach wants to see at this point. He wants to see these guys struggle with those lap cars, just so he can maintain that distance. Gap I see right now about 2.3 seconds now between Zach and David. And that's where Zach wants to keep this. He wants to keep this as distant as possible for these last 18 laps.
Yeah, 18 laps to go. I would think that Zach really just wants to start conserving tire. No need to push this thing. 2.5 seconds back up in the lead. I think really now is just play within your margins, have plenty of exit speed, but make sure that you're not super close to that wall, and just nail these lap times. As now 2.6 seconds, as this driver has really, Russ, put on quite the show throughout this night. been the most dominant driver here, winning both of those stages and finding his way out front and just setting sail. Now 2.6 seconds up. So what else can we say here about Zach Lockett tonight?
Yeah, man. Like I said earlier, this is one of them tracks that he's just really, really good at. And, just say that he's got to come out here to Nashville Super Speedway and put on a clinic here at the QFRL races is an understatement. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how many laps out of the 210 he actually led, because I have a feeling that it's pretty close to almost all of them except for a few.
Yeah, the 33 with playing that fuel strategy and staying out, led a good portion of this race as well. But I would think on sure pace, Zach has really been one of the better drivers out here tonight in this field. But my goodness, it looks like we've got this battle for second position, Russ, just not dying, as we saw David get around Pack a little bit earlier, but Kenneth has been able to really hang on the back end of this 15 machine and not letting him go away. But don't look now, because Chris Essery wanting to find himself into a podium position, and we talked about him. He is going to have your freshest tires right now out of any of these drivers out here in the top three. He is now starting to sneak into the back end of second and third and fourth, wanting to get some more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's definitely going to be there, and put on that battle for up to second place, I think. But I don't know if he's got quite enough time to do anything with Lockett out front in P1. But, it's definitely going to be a three-way battle here for second, third, and fourth.
And there he is. He is on the back end of this 16 machine right now. Chris now going to go to the left-hand side, the lower side. He is going to have the preferred line going into turn one. Now, the 16 is just going to back off. Kenneth Pack not being able to find the speed. He knows he can't hold him off, so he's just going to fall in line and try to use that draft to get himself back up here, because he can still contend with David for a top three if the four car can get around him pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if that four car can get around the 15 there of David, he, send him back, and he could definitely run David back down and fight for the final podium position here. But
as you can see, he is now starting to inch closer and closer and closer to this 15 car. Chris Essery finding a lot of speed later on in this race. Zach Lockett, your leader, now up 2.67 seconds over these drivers in second and third. Chris has not done that four machine, wants more. He wants that second position. He is all over the back end of this driver. 11 laps to go. I don't think David can hold him off. The question is going to be, what kind of a fight is David going to put up, or is he going to let him go as to not allow Kenneth Pack to close in on them? If they do battle side by side, that 16 is going to join this battle, as here he goes now, the four underneath of the 15.
Yeah, if David was smart right now, they're side by side. Let it go up here into the corner. Let that four car go and maintain that third spot. And don't let the 16 catch back up to you right away. Make him earn that spot.
Looks like that is going to be what happens, either by choice or he doesn't have a choice. One way or the other, put that four machine up to second position. 15 now back to third, and he is going to try to stay in the tire tracks of this four, use that draft to sneak away from Kenneth Pack there in fourth position. So your four machine up to second, 9 laps to go. That is a 3-second gap to your driver and Zach Lockett, your leader. So I don't think he's going to have enough time, Russ, but he made a good decision. I thought maybe he did not by staying out, but he has drove his way back up to second place and is your fastest driver on the track right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the lap time difference looks like right now as to whether or not, 8 laps is enough time for him to get to Zach. But the four car has had a great race today. Nonetheless, he's been up there, been right on Zach's heels all day. It just came down to that final pit stop, and it looks like, by the end of this, it looks like Zach's just going to kind of have had a better final pit stop than what Chris had, and ultimately is what's going to give him the distance right now to be able to pull out this win if it stays green to the end.
Yeah, 8 laps to go. It's going to be 7 now as Zach's going to cross the start-finish line. So we're going to take a look at these lap times. This Ford machine turning in a last lap of a 30.23. So Zach Lockett at a 30.14, actually a bit quicker than your second place driver. So we're going to do one more on board here with Lockett as we see him getting around this track, still staying in 4th gear. Let's see if he shifts. We know he'll shift down the front stretch. Let's see what he does here on the back stretch.
Tires are angry.
Yeah, all over this 10th place machine of Tyrone. He's going to put the 10th place car a lap down now. Zach just looks like he is in full control of this car. He's got all the will in the world. You can see that orange line right in the center of that steering wheel. He is having to barely turn it, which means he's got it hung on that right rear. Little pushy, as you can see him just really putting some will into it now. But, able to work that throttle. Nice exit, 3.2 seconds. He has nothing to worry about outside of a caution right here. So Zach Lockett just praying that this thing goes green all the way throughout the rest of this race.
Yeah, just kind of set on cruise control right now. Looks like he's actually gained a little bit of time on Chris there in P2, up to about a 3.1, 3.2 second gap. So Zach got it on cruise control right now, looking for the checkered flag to bring us in home victory lane.
Yes, he is. Now it looks like as we go to 4 laps to go, this 54 machine, such a great run all the way throughout this field, coming under fire by Greg here in the 3 machine. Gregory Robinson starting to work his way forward as well, so he has saved a ton of tire. 3 laps to go. This is going to be a battle. Both of these drivers, Brian is in your 5th position, and the 3 machine wants 5th position. 3 laps to go now. Only a few car lengths is going to separate these 2 drivers for the battle. 5th position. I don't know if he's got it in him there, Russ. It does look like that 54 really under control. 3 is rolling the bottom, rolling the center very well, but the 54 with a great runs off of these turns. Plenty of margin there on the walls. Doesn't look like that 54 is pushing really hard. This is going to be tough to do here with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, the 3's not giving up though. He's really trying to fight that. Got to get it up there and get around that 54, get one more spot here in the finishing position. But coming to the white flag here and running out of time.
Final lap. This 93 machine Goat Diecast car has been dominant all night long. He is going to come around turns 1 and 2 one last time. This is going to be the next flag is going to end this thing, and that is going to be a checkered flag. Your winner right here in Nashville. He can coast this thing to the start-finish line with a 3.5 second lead. Zach Lockett is going to take your win here at Nashville Speedway.
Such a dominating performance by Zach tonight. Take nothing away from Chris there in that number 4, but that later stage of the race, Zach was just kind of untouchable. He got that gap, and he just held it the whole rest of the race.
Yeah, someone in chat saying the Dominator, Zach Lockett. Zach Lockett, we like to call him Zach the Rocket Lockett, picking up a win here in QFRL at Nashville Speedway. Zach, getting some congratulations. Let's see this driver burn this thing down as he deserves it. Just a great dominating performance. Really looked like he was in rhythm, in his groove there, and he is going to burn this thing down as we're going to turn this thing up and let him do it. That looks like a man that was happy to post a win. And as he
I was
does
just gonna
that,
say.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, that's a man that's happy for a comeback because I was just talking with Zach before this race started tonight, and he had a very unfortunate race here at Nashville Super Speedway in the A Fixed official series, going for a win, got wrecked at the end, ended up finishing like 21st. So kind of a sweet payback here to pick up the win again in Nashville in the QFRL.
Man, and win in a big way that he did there, Russ. So let's do your rundown here for your finale. Zach Lockett is going to be your winner. Chris is going to finish second. David in third. Michael in fourth. Brian is going to be in fifth. Gregory in sixth. Nelson is going to finish seventh. Joshua Barr in eighth. Nagy is going to be ninth. Your 10th place is going to be Tyrone.
Then 11th is going to be Kenneth Pack. 12th, Andrew Davis. 13th, James Bowden. 14th, Philip Chavez. 15th, Michael Boone. Jordan's going to finish in 16th. Austin's going to bring it home in 17th. Tyler and P 18. Then looks like Michael in 19th, and Miklos running out the top 20.
So there you go. 21st is going to be Tommy Osborne. Nathan is going to be in 22nd. Joshua is going to be in 23rd. And Dustin is going to round out your 24th position. Honeycutt, we saw him a little bit earlier get into some damage. He called it early. And 26th on the field is Ricky Riley. So there is your finishing grid for Nashville. And let's see if we can go back and pick up some of these drivers.
Looks like everybody's anxious to speak with us tonight because they're
right.
all in the waiting room, ready to go.
So I'm going to pull up. Let's see if we can get Mr. Hera in the booth. So there he is. I'm going to pull him up now. And David, this is John and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
Man, we are doing fantastic. I'll tell you, really good, strong run tonight. As we walk through this thing, I want to talk to you a little bit or ask you a question about how the track changed tonight, because it looked like it started to cool down and really looked like there was a lot of grip in the track later on. And then I want to talk to you really about some of these pit strategies that went down, but walk me through this track, how it ran earlier in the race, and did it change a lot throughout this race as it started to cool off?
So it looks like it cooled off 81 in practice, and it's down to right 75 here at the end. But it really started to grip up probably the end towards the end of stage 2 is when I started feeling a good bit of grip in the track. But you could start getting the rear end loose. So it was pushing tight, and then that would cause it to be loose, but loose off a little bit. But it started. We're gripping later in the run. Front tires were gripping, and it would cause it to handle a whole lot better with these tight fixed setup.
Well, man, you really put on a fantastic show. You were up there all night long. You were very, very strong. You ran a great race. Looked like you were coming up just a little bit short, but I saw a lot of long run pace. So when you were coming out on some of those, especially that last stem, did you think, man, I really need to save these tires? Because it looks like you had some battles all the way throughout tonight where it was kind of a give and take. You were a little bit quicker on the long run than some of these other drivers, but really saw that long run speed from you tonight. Was that the plan going in, or is that just kind of what your driving style was here at Nashville?
Well, I ran this race last night in another league, All-American Racing League, and finished second to Chris Essery there in the 4. And I had to learn, to save the tires over the long run. And honestly, on that last stop, I was trying to short pit Zach because I know that was going to give me an advantage, at least to be able to get out in front and try to block. However, I had to call it out because I had a car not far behind me. So when I called it out on iRacing, I think that's when he may have decided to come onto pit road. And I gained quite a bit on him there on entry to pit road. And I think the 16 took 2 tires and was able to get in between us there. But yeah, I don't think any of us had anything for Zach tonight. He was on, and Chris is quick as always.
Yeah, well, you did a fantastic job. You brought this puppy home here on the podium. 3rd place finish, David. Fantastic job tonight. We're going to turn it over to you and let you give your shout outs.
Yeah, man. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. I'd like to thank Hillbilly Motorsports, Dirty Dave's Racing, LSPD on the car. You know, we got this thing dressed up like a police car from Grand Theft Auto. So that's always a little fun to do. And yeah, I'd like to thank Mom and Dad for creating a legend. And you guys have a good night.
All right. Thank you, sir. We certainly appreciate it. All right. There's your third place driver creating legends. Russ, we love to hear it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it. You know, that's an interesting way of putting it.
All right, let's see if we can bring Chris into the booth here. This is going to be your second place driver. Chris, this is John and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you guys.
All right, Chris, we're going to turn this over to Russ here and let him do his interview.
Say, hey, Chris, you know, we've seen a lot of speed out of that number 4 tonight, but it looked like you kind of was fighting a little bit at the beginning of that last stage. But trying to maybe make a comeback towards the end of it, but not quite able to get back up to Zach. Take us back through your race and tell us exactly kind of like what your plan was with pit strategy. We talked a lot about pit strategy. We talked about a lot about track transition tonight. Just kind of take us back through your race and tell us what you were feeling with the track transition where, you know, it got a little cooler there towards the end, and then what your mindset was with your pit strategy tonight.
Man, to be honest, I was fighting the right front all day. I just needed to keep it down. I don't think I made the right decision on the steering pinion. I think I went a little too high, and I would burn it up. Like first ran, I destroyed it. Second run, I was able to save a little bit. Really went for the undercuts the first 2 stages. Tried, maybe hopefully they'll burn their stuff up trying to get to me, because if you undercut, you usually get a little lead coming out. I was actually going to try to do the same thing at the end, but they all pitted in early, and I said, you know what, I can't go now. I got to stay out. So I went 5 laps longer, and I was able to get around David there, but I couldn't catch Zach.
Yeah, did you notice much of a difference with the track transition throughout the race? I mean, I know we saw the track state start out about 80 degrees, 81 degrees somewhere in there, and saw it finish off like in the low 70s, mid 70s. Was there much of a difference to you as far as the transition for that track temperature?
No, I didn't feel a big difference. Just the lap times were faster, running the same. I was just worried about not picking up, because you could drive it in deeper. It was easier to drive later on, but I was just more focused on saving that right front, not overdriving.
Yeah, that was one of the things we talked about. As the track temperature comes down, it kind of gives you like a little bit of a false sense of security, thinking, oh, I can get off of these corners a little bit faster now, and then end up pushing it just a little bit too hard and get up into the wall. But it seems like you were able to keep a pretty good handle on it all night tonight. You were fast all night up there fighting with Zach for the lead pretty much all night long. So we'll go ahead and turn it over to you and let you give any shout-outs.
Shout out my unofficial team, the guys I race with in Discord. They helped me out on deciding what to do. Shout out to you guys for putting on a great broadcast, and James and Benjamin for putting together the league.
All right, man. Well, congrats on a second place finish, and hope to see you back out there next week and fighting for a win again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so there is your second place driver there, Chris Essery. Just a fantastic job tonight, Russ. Really turned in a good performance. But now the man of the hour, let's see if we can bring Mr. Zach Lockett up in the booth. Zach, this is John and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, yep.
Well, man, Zach, it looked like, just really from the outstart, it looked like you narrowed in on the line that you wanted to run. It looked like you glued to that line all night long. We talked about it just a little bit in the broadcast where I thought, hey, man, maybe Zach's running about a lane and a half off of the bottom of the track, where maybe it was hard for you to get there, but it looked like that was intentional. And, man, once you set sail, it looked like longer in those runs, the more wear those tires got, man, the better your pace got. Walk me through your night, what that mindset was, going through this race here for your very first race at QFRL.
Yeah, once I got the pole, I knew I could get a good jump here, and it might be a good night. Really don't want to run in dirty air here. It is a really big pain in the butt, especially since it's so, bottom heavy, right around that, hugging that yellow line. The way I was running, I think it just in 1 and 2, I think I was just missing the bottom more than I wanted to on most laps. I do think a lane a little bit up kind of gave me a little bit more of a run off the turn, but for the most part, that was not by design, and it was meant to. I wanted to stay around the bottom, hug the bottom. I think in 3 and 4, I was much better all night. But yeah, really wanted to get the long runs here throughout the night. Once we got past about that lap 15 marker each run, kind of seemed like everyone started to fall back a little bit more. So really excited to not get any cautions either, or I think we had just had one throughout the race, and definitely was praying not to have one during that last run, because I did not have an extra set of tires, and I think some guys did for the end. So shout out to everyone for holding their steady wheel and for having a great race.
Well, man, you certainly put it on everybody tonight. Really dominating performance. Like you said, got
you ain't
the
kidding.
pole, just nailed this thing lap after lap. Walk me through, when you had those green flag starts and you knew you had that long run speed, where do you decide as a driver to push to get track position? Do you let some drivers go? What was your thought process? Did you want clean air tonight and you drive it just a little harder than you wanted to until those tires really started to show some wear? What was your thought process through those first 10 or 15 laps?
Yeah, clean air is king, especially here. I know that from a very good driver here. His name is John Ross as well. So, John, you taught me a lot about this track. But no, definitely off the jump, I knew I wanted to kind of get a little bit of a jump, get at least maybe half a second or more up. And then really just gauged it by how quickly guys were coming to me. Like if there was someone on my bumper, I would try to push it a little bit more and just throw dirty air on their nose, but use a little bit more tire. But really, once we got to that 10 to 15 lap marker, that's when I really just kind of settled in and tried to be as smooth as possible with my inputs, getting back on the throttle. I did slap the wall a few times. I don't know if you guys caught that on the broadcast.
We did.
Okay. Whoops. Definitely wasn't my smoothest race, but I definitely just tried to keep running my line, keep backing it down a little bit here, and until someone got close to me, and then it was really go time. But the long runs, it just kind of seemed like they were just perfect for me and perfect for my car tonight, especially with my I set my brake bias pretty low, and it really helped me around, get a good arc into the turn and hug the bottom really well. So.
Well, I will tell you, Zach, you really put a great race together throughout the night, and that's really when you're leading, you have to make those decisions. When do I push? When do I hold back? And you made all the right decisions tonight. So I'll turn it over to Russ to give his shout outs, but just fantastic job there. And Russ, I'll turn it over to you for any questions.
Yeah, I just wanted to put out there, you led 159 of the 210 laps. Absolutely dominating performance tonight. You and I were talking, and I had mentioned this a little bit earlier on in the broadcast. You and I had talked prior to the race, and you were telling me about your A-fixed little situation that you had prior to this race starting. Does that kind of soothe the ache from that A-fixed race that you had?
Yeah, definitely to lead that many laps and win. Because every time I go into A-fixed, man, I'm just hoping for a long run because I know I can be good on the long runs. But top split, A-fixed, get an inch of room. So we got a lot more room here tonight. So again, shout out to everyone. This is really a great league, and thanks to Greg Robinson for putting it on. And yeah, I raced with Greg last year for a long time and in other leagues, and really appreciate what he's doing here and everyone here. But yeah, this eases the pain away. Some great laps here for sure.
All right.
Good race tonight for you, buddy.
Yep, Zach, we're going to turn it over to you, sir, and let you give your shout-outs tonight, and fantastic job here on your finish.
Yeah, shout out to you guys for the broadcast, of course, here, hopping in here in this league. Really appreciate it. The Adrenaline Racing teammates, which also happen to be you guys, really appreciate it. I've learned a lot from all of you guys and everyone at Adrenaline Racing. It's been really fun to race with everyone there. A little quiet in the Discord tonight. I was just alone to myself to complain a little bit and curse myself out when I missed my line or whatever. So just yapping to myself all night, which was fun. Thanks to Greg and, like I said, everyone at QFRL putting this on. And I want to also give a shout out to the sponsor, Goat Racing Diecast. Chuck over there at Goat Racing does great work here with NASCAR Diecast, also does custom iRacing Diecast. So check out Chuck over at GoatRacingDiecast.com. Get yourself a diecast and use code GoatRacing93. Get yourself a little bit off. And yeah, that's really it. Appreciate it.
Fantastic job, Zach. Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right, so there is Zach Lockett, your winner tonight here at Nashville. And I've got to tell you, Russ, I certainly appreciate everybody here at QFRL for allowing us to broadcast tonight. Man, I got to tell you, a lot of respect out there on the track tonight. A lot of fast drivers, a lot of skilled racing. Man, what more could you ask for here at Nashville Super Speedway?
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's a brand new league for us to call, and you know, it was an absolute pleasure watching these guys, you know, battle it out for 210 laps, having only one racing-related caution. That's just monumental to a lot of what we've seen. You know, so it was great to be back in the booth with you again, John, calling this thing, and looking forward to doing many more, buddy.
All right, so everyone out there, we certainly appreciate you tuning in. They will be back. QFRL races every Friday night, and if you want to be a part of that, make sure that you reach out. You can find them, I'm sure, on that Facebook through iRacing, and you can find them and get in on the action. Congratulations to those top 3 drivers. That is Zach, Chris, and David tonight for finishing 1, 2, and 3. And Russ, we will see you next time.
Watching.